A-Level Pure 1 Geometric Progressions, Exercise 1. Now the following is an exercise on geometric progressions. Pause the video at this point and have a go at the questions yourself. When you've finished, restart the video and I'll go through the answers. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. In question 1, we're told the first term of a geometric progression is 320 and the common ratio is 3/2. In the first part, we're asked to write down the first 4 terms of the GP. Well, in general, the first 4 terms are A, AR, AR squared and AR cubed. So in this case, they are 320, 320 times 3/2, 320 times 3/2 squared, and 320 times 3/2 cubed. And that is 320, 480, 720, and 1080. And those are our answers. In part 2, we're asked what is the 8th term. Well, to get the 8th term, we can use the formula Tn is equal to AR to the power n minus 1. So T8, the 8th term, is equal to 320 times 3/2 to the power 8 minus 1. That is, T8 is equal to 320 times 1.5 to the power 7. Now we can do that on a calculator, and it turns out that the answer is 5,467.5. In part 3, we're asked to calculate the sum of the first 8 terms. Well, there is a formula for calculating the sum of n terms, and that is Sn, the sum of n terms, is equal to A into r to the n minus 1 over r minus 1. So we just substitute in the numbers. S8 is equal to 320 into 1.5 to the power 8 minus 1 over 1.5 minus 1. And we can work that out on a calculator. It comes to 15,762.5, and that is our answer. In question 2, we're told the second term of a GP is 60 and the 4th term is 375. We're asked to find all possible values for the first term. Well, to solve this, we've got T2 is 60 and T4 is 375. Now if we use the nth term, Tn is equal to AR to the power n minus 1, we have AR is equal to 60 and AR cubed is equal to 375. Now if we divide the second equation by the first, we get AR cubed over AR is equal to 375 over 60. Which cancels down to r squared is equal to 6.25. Now if we take the square root of both sides, we get r equals plus or minus the square root of 6.25, so r is equal to plus or minus 2.5. Now we know a is equal to 60 over r, so a is equal to 60 over 2.5, or a is equal to 60 over minus 2.5, and that gives us our answer. A is 24, or A is equal to minus 24. In question 3, we're told the second term of a GP is 12, and the sum of the first 3 terms is 38. Find the first 3 terms. Well, we can let the first 3 terms be A, AR, and AR squared. Then we know the second term is 12, and so AR is equal to 12. We also know the sum of the first 3 terms is 38. So A plus AR squared equals 38. Now from 1 we've got A is equal to 12 over R, and we can substitute that into 2. So that gives us 12 over R plus 12 over R times R plus 12 over R times R squared is equal to 38. Now to get rid of the fractions, we can multiply all the way through by r, So 12 plus 12r plus 12r squared equals 38r. And that can be rearranged to give 12r squared minus 26r plus 12 equals 0. We can divide all the way through by 2, and that gives us 6r squared minus 13r plus 6 equals 0. Now that's a quadratic equation. We can either solve it using the formula, or let's do it by factorising. Now that factorises into 3r minus 2 times 2r minus 3 equals 0. So r is either equal to 2/3 or r is equal to 3 over 2. Now we have AR is 12, so if r is 2/3, then 2/3 of A is 12, so A is equal to 12 times 3 over 2, which is 18. In which case the terms are 18, 12 and 8. If r is 3 over 2, then 3 over 2 times A is 12. In other words, A is 12 times 2/3, which is 8, and the terms are 8, 12 and 18. So we have two options. The terms are either 18, 12 and 8 or 8, 12, 18. In question 4 we're given that x, 6 and x plus 9 are three consecutive terms in a GP. Find the possible values of x. Well, to solve this, if the terms are consecutive terms in a GP, then they have a common ratio. So 6 over x is equal to x plus 9 over 6. Now we can multiply through by 6 and multiply by x, and that gives us 6 times 6 equals x into x plus 9. Well, we can expand the bracket. That's 36 equals x squared plus 9x. And we can rearrange that to give us x squared plus 9x minus 36 is 0. Now that's a quadratic equation in x, and so we can solve it by factorising it. Now it factorises as x plus 12 into x minus 3 equals 0, so x is equal to minus 12 or x is equal to 3. And those are our answers. X is minus 12 or x is equal to minus 3. Now we can check this. If x is equal to minus 12, then the terms are minus 12, 6 and minus 12 plus 9, which is minus 3. Now that's a common ratio of minus a half. If x is equal to 3, then the terms are 3, 6 and 3 plus 9, which is 12. In this case, the common ratio is 2. In question 5, we're told the sum of the first two terms of a GP is 20. The third term is 10 more than the first term. Find the common ratio and the first three terms. Well, to solve this, we've got t1 plus t2 is 20, and t3 is equal to t1 plus 10. Now if we take t1 as a, t2 as ar, and t3 as ar squared, from t1 plus t2 is 20 we get a plus ar is equal to 20, which we can factorise as a into 1 plus r equals 20, or a is 20 over 1 plus r. Now, from t3 equals t1 plus 10, we have ar squared equals a plus 10, which factorises as a into r squared minus 1 is equal to 10. And if we substitute equation 1 into equation 2, we get 20 over 1 plus r times r squared minus 1 equals 10. So 20 times r squared minus 1 over 1 plus r is equal to 10. Now r squared minus 1 factorises as r minus 1 into r plus 1. So we have 20 times r minus 1 times r plus 1 all over 1 plus r equals 10. Now we've got r plus 1 on the top and the bottom, so they cancel. And that leaves us with 20r minus 20 is equal to 10. So 20r is 30, or r equals 1.5. Now if we look back, we've got a into 1 plus r is 20. So substituting r is 1.5, we get a times 2.5 is 20, or A is 20 over 2.5, which is 8. So our answer is the common ratio is 1.5, and the terms are 8, 12, and 18. In question 6, we're given the first term of an arithmetic progression is 54. The first term, the 10th term, and the 13th term are equal to the first 3 terms of a GP. Given that D is not equal to 0, find the common difference of the AP and the common ratio of the GP. Well, to solve this, in the AP, we've got T1 is equal to 54, T10 is 54 plus 9D, and T13 is 54 plus 12D. Now, if we use the letter U for the terms in the GP, we have U1 is equal to A, U2 is equal to AR, and U3 is equal to AR squared. So A is equal to 54, AR is equal to 54 plus 9D, and AR squared is 54 plus 12D. Now, in equation 1, we've got A is 54, and if we substitute that into equation 2, we get 54R equals 54 plus 9D. And we can divide all the way through by 9, so 6R equals 6 plus D. So D is equal to 6R minus 6. Now if we substitute A is equal to 54 in equation 3, we get 54R squared equals 54 plus 12D. And we can divide all the way through by 6. So 9R squared equals 9 plus 2D. Now if we substitute D as 6R minus 6 into that equation, we get 9R squared minus 9 equals 2 into 6R minus 6. In other words, 9R squared minus 9 is 12R minus 12, or 9R squared minus 12R plus 3 equals 0. Now we can divide all the way through by 3, and that gives 3R squared minus 4R plus 1 equals 0. And that factorizes as 3R minus 1 times R minus 1 equals 0. So R is equal to a third, or R equals 1. Now if R is equal to 1, we've got D is equal to 6R minus 6, which is just 6 minus 6 or 0. But we're told D is not equal to 0, so then R has to equal 1/3. In which case D is equal to 6 times a third minus 6, which equals minus 4. And so our answer is D is minus 4 and R is equal to a third. In question 7, we're told the first 3 terms of a GP are x minus 6, x, and x plus 10. And we want to find the value of x and the first 3 terms. To solve this, we know T3 is equal to R times T2, and T2 is equal to R times T1. So T3 over T2 is equal to T2 over T1 because they're both equal to R. Now if we substitute in T1 as x minus 6, T2 as x, and T3 as x plus 10, we get x plus 10 over x equals x over x minus 6. Now if we multiply by x minus 6 on both sides and multiply by x on both sides, this simplifies to x plus 10 into x minus 6 equals x squared. In other words, x squared plus 10x minus 6x minus 60 equals x squared. The x squareds cancel on each side, and so it simplifies to 4x minus 60 equals 0, or 4x equals 60. Now this means x is equal to 15. So our answer is x equals 15. So the terms are 15 minus 6, which is 9, x, which is 15, and x plus 10, which is 25. That is 9, 15, 25.